That's on our sixth filming for the night. That's when those things happen. I don't know why. I'm still scientifically trying to prove and understand that. Uh, Tonight, Power of Bourbon. We brought in the the guest speaker,
the heavy hitter.
Yep, the heavy hitter.
DH.
Oh, yeah. Well, or it could be like the Cardinals. Like, we brought in Molina to pitch. Like, hey, we're just gonna have some fun.
The Hall of Fame catcher. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by that.
So tonight we finally got around to trying this. We've got, amazingly enough, we even have a backlog, but please send us more bourbon if you want to. We like backlogs. So tonight what we are going to try is Frey Ranch barrel proof, right, Chuck?
That's right. Yeah. So this is a single barrel picked from Bourbon Pursuit and Keg and Bottle in San Diego.
Yeah. So
coming in at 127.18 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's up there.
Yeah. And Frey Ranch is out of Nevada. They're big on terroir, which is a wine term. So, Chuck can correct me when I mess all this up. But it's
I'm impressed that you pronounce that well. Sometimes it's like it's
terroir.
Stumble over your.
That's on our sixth filming for the night. That's when those things happen. I don't know why. I'm still scientifically trying to prove and understand that. But they're big on terroir, which is a wine thing, which is the idea that small sections of your fields are going to give you different types of crops and different qualities to the crops. I know with wine, it can be really small areas that they break it down to. Frey Ranch doesn't.
Microclimates.
Yeah. Frey Ranch doesn't really say the size, but all their grain are grown on property, from my understanding. This is actually a 4-grain, so it is corn, of course. You've got winter wheat, winter cereal rye, and barley in there. So apparently Chuck understands when they say slow grown, how that refers to the winter stuff.
Yeah, they're planted in the fall. They grow a little bit. They're short. They overwinter. They actually need that overwintering period to flower. And then come spring, then they actually produce grain.
Oh, okay.
And generally harvested sometime in the summer.
Cool. So there we go. So yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about Frey Ranch, that they do some really good stuff, especially their barrel proofs. As you guys know by now, for those of us that have been in the bourbon game for a while, we just naturally tend to go to barrel proof stuff, probably because our taste buds are shot. And also you can water it down and get the lower proof stuff. So why not just buy the higher proof stuff? So we're going to tell you what we think, and should you be looking for a bottle yourself. So cheers, and let's see.
Those are really interesting nose. Kind of berry, kind of chocolate.
I was going to say chocolate, yeah. Like dark cocoa.
But I'm getting like a hint of raspberry in there too.
As I say, I'm getting some light fruit. It's almost something like crisp and refreshing, especially at 127 proof. Like, it doesn't just blast you with ethanol.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say it's like there's something a little bit different about it than other noses that you generally get on bourbon, which I'm going to attribute to the 4-grain and then the winter crops. But there is something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not like the other 4-grains that I've had. And maybe, a lot of times these 4-grains end up being younger craft distilleries. So you kind of put those two things on top of each other. But a lot of those 4-grains, to me, the nose has been grainy. And this has it's subtle. More subtle to me, anyway.
I'm getting some young notes on this. Someone here may not like those young notes. Don't know who we're talking about.
On first sip, right now that it's not as grain forward to me. I get a little bit of youngness, but it manifests itself in a floral herbalness for me on the palate.
Yeah, so on the first part of the palate, it's definitely like all floral. I would say almost like a 4 roses, but then it quickly like transitions mid palate to honey and some caramel notes, and then just goes into a rye peppery finish. But the weird thing is it definitely does not coat all your tongue or all your mouth. Like I'm getting it on the tip and I'm getting it on the very back, but nowhere in the sides or the mid tongue does it even touch.
That's kind of interesting because it's like the front of my tongue is tingling. So that piece of it, and it's not a unpleasant tingling to me, but that doesn't come through until the kind of towards the end of the palate.
Yeah.
I'm still getting some berry. Like I'm still getting that raspberry in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, on the palate for me, which is like giving that tartness, which is maybe why you're feeling it on the front of your tongue, is like that little bit of tartness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting quite a burn on the back of the tongue though.
Yeah, it's got a big Nevada hug.
Yeah, it doesn't hit you. It doesn't hit me here. It's still staying up in my maybe back of the throat and on the tongue.
And I'm getting some chocolate on the palate now too.
Mm-hmm.
It's reminding me of Grater's raspberry chocolate chip. That's what I'm getting.
I'm definitely getting some red fruit, some berries on the palate.
Yeah, it's delightful. I like it. So
towards the beginning of the finish, other than the spiciness and tingling of the pepper, definitely getting some like drying oak, some young wood, kind of dries the palate out.
Yeah, it's not something I would go to on a weekly basis by any means, but it's one that, like, if I wanted to branch out and show friends like other bourbons, or if I'm just in the mood for something a little bit different, what I'm thinking along the lines of is like the specialty new riffs, the maltsters, the red wheat, things like that. When I want something a little bit off profile, kind of adventurous, this would definitely be a good one to have on the shelf to have and try.
Yeah, I think in the world that we're currently in bourbon, where it's just you turn around and there's another sourced label on the shelf, right? It's either coming out of MGP or undisclosed Kentucky, probably Barton, or Tennessee. It's kind of refreshing that these guys are doing start to finish something unique to their environment, to their distillery, farm, ranch. And honestly, it's a pretty decent product if you compare it to some other craft distilleries. So, yeah. And from that perspective, if you compare it to that at that level, I'm pleased. If you're is this gonna replace my weekly or daily, Kentucky bourbon or my preference for aged MGP? No.
Yeah.
But that's just not what it is, right? And who knows what these, give them another 5 years and maybe those guys are right there too. But I'd say it's a pretty good product today and a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had this in a lineup and you were doing this blind, like, I don't think you would identify this as a bourbon, no, at all.
Probably not.
Like, it doesn't have any of those classic bourbon notes to me, but it's good. It's hard for me to get past the burn in the throat, so might have to like water it down maybe, or like try a little bit of water in there. But I like everything else going on with it. The nice light flavors. It rolls on your tongue a little different. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So,
and I haven't personally had their standard offering, which is their 90 proof, non-chill filtered. So that would be maybe interesting to get a hands on as well.
It's not a bad buy. Like I said, you're not going to go out and buy multiples of it, I don't think, unless it's your thing. Like, I don't think you're going to get it and be disappointed. But I also don't think you're going to get it and be like, I got to go buy another one type of thing. So, yeah,
it's one of those, if you're a rye drinker, or if you really like the Four Roses, have high rye notes, those floral notes, I think you're going to like this.
Yeah. So there you go. Let us know in the comments below if you've been seeing Frey Ranch. Maybe you've tried a Frey Ranch. What were your thoughts? What do you think? Did we completely screw the pooch, or did we get something similar to what you thought? We only have the palates that we have and the taste that we like. So let us know, and we'll see you next time.
Stay neat.
Cheers.